Hello friends, in this video we will learn a polar form Fourier series and also we will see how trigonometric Fourier series is derived. Let us begin. So let's see how this polar form Fourier series has come in picture, and before that I want you people to understand how to convert a complex number into polar form. For example, let's say if we have a plus jb, this is a complex number, am I right? This is also called as a rectangular form. So this is called as a rectangular form. If I want to convert it into polar form, then a standard polar form is given as r at an angle of phase, where r stands for magnitude and this is nothing but a phase angle. And obviously r is under root of a square plus b square, and phase information is tan inverse of imaginary part upon real part, that is b by a. So a plus jb can be written like this: r at an angle of phase, or it can be also expressed as r e to the power j phi, where this 5 and this 5 is same and this is nothing but your r, that is magnitude. So you know very well, when a plus jb is a complex number, r is magnitude of a plus jb and phi is phase information obtained from a plus jb. So to understand polar form Fourier series, you should understand how to express rectangular form to polar form. So this resultant form is called as a polar form. So now we'll start from where we left, that is a complex exponential Fourier series. X of t is given as summation k is changed from minus infinity to plus infinity ck e to the power j k omega naught t. Am I right? So we have a provision to change k from minus infinity to plus infinity. So to tell you in short, we can have all negative values of k, we can have all positive values of k, also k equal to 0. So what I'm doing is, I am basically partitioning this summation into three parts. So first part will handle k ranging from minus infinity to minus 1. We have ck e to the power j k omega naught t. Along with negative values, we should have positive values also. So to handle positive values, we have another summation operator, k equal to positive 1 to positive infinity ck e to the power j k omega naught t. And not only for negative values and positive values, you know that k should be equal to 0, because when I'm saying that k is ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity, it includes k equal to 0 also. But then see to it what happens when you substitute k equal to 0. When you substitute k equal to 0, ck becomes c naught, am I right? And since k value equal to 0, so it becomes e to the power 0, and e to the power 0 is 1. So we did not to really mention a summation operator there, because it is only obtained at k equal to 0, so only for one value. So this is just expansion of x of t, that is a complex exponential Fourier series. Now since property allow me, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to substitute k equal to minus k. See why I'm doing this, I'll tell you. Since this is handling k for positive values, this is handling k for negative values, so somehow I want to make it only one summation. So what I'm doing is k equal to minus k, and let me tell you, a summation operator does allow to do this. So I'm substituting k equal to minus k. In that case, please understand, if k equal to minus k, when I say k equal to minus infinity, that is I'm talking about a lower limit. But since k has become minus k, so I would say minus k equal to minus infinity, I would say k equal to infinity. Is that right? Similarly, upper limit I'm talking about. For upper limit, value of k is minus 1. So when I say k equal to minus 1, but I have substituted k as minus k, now I would say minus k equal to minus 1. So I would say k equal to 1. Please understand, now your lower limit and upper limits are changed, that is from 1 to infinity. And now I'm going to rewrite all the things as it is. Only thing I'm changing value of k from 1 to infinity. So now I can write my x of t as summation k equal to 1 to infinity ck e to the power. Now instead of ck, I supposed to write c minus k. I'll tell you why. See, when I have decided to have a substitution as k equal to minus k, then ck will become c minus k, and of course this k is replaced with minus k. So power of e will become negative. So it becomes e to the power minus j k omega naught t. Am I right? So accordingly we have to correct in the next slide. So it has become c minus k e to the power minus j k omega naught t. Then c naught plus summation k equal to 1 to infinity, we have ck e to the power j k omega naught t. Am I right? Later on, I can rewrite this as, later on, you know that x of t is a real signal, and of course it is periodic, because if it is not periodic, there is no point to even discuss Fourier series. And we know that from our syllabus point of view, we always believe that x of t is always a real signal. As we have discussed in the last video lecture, whenever x of t is a real signal as well as periodic, then the set of ck, if you write, which is discrete in nature, satisfies even conjugate property. So we know that if x of t is a real signal and periodic, then ck satisfies even conjugate property. Now let me remind you, let if x of n is even conjugate signal, then x conjugate of minus n is always x of n. In that case, if you want to express even conjugate signal, then you write it like this: x conjugate of minus n is equal to x of n, then x of n is even conjugate signal. Now you know what, I don't have to really express it in terms of x of n. I want to express my even conjugate property in terms of ck. In that case, I can rewrite this as c minus k conjugate should become equal to ck. I hope you understood my point. I wanted to express ck as a even conjugate signal or a even conjugate set. In that case, ck must satisfy this property, that is c conjugate of minus k should become equal to ck. What I'm trying to do is, I'm going to take conjugate on both the sides. So if I do so, it will become simply c minus k, because suppose you have conjugated some complex value, and if you reconjugate it, that conjugate will get cancelled. So c minus k will become ck conjugate. Is that right? So what I'm really going to do with this, I'm going to replace c minus k with ck conjugate. So you have c minus k over here. I'm going to replace this with ck conjugate. I hope my point is clear. So let me go to the next slide. So now I can write my x of t equal to summation k equal to 1 to infinity, what we had over here, c minus k, it is replaced with ck conjugate, e to the power minus j k omega naught t, plus you have c naught plus another summation operator, we have k equal to 1 to infinity ck e to the power j k omega naught t. Am I right? Now you know what, I can combine this summation operator with this. I can write x of t equal to, so I'll write c naught term first, c naught plus summation k equal to 1 to infinity. I'll write ck e to the power j k omega naught t. So I have written this term first, and this is second one I'm going to specify, plus ck e to the power minus j k omega naught t. This is ck conjugate. So this is I'm clubbing together. Is that right? So you know that when I say ck is complex number, or it is also called as a rectangular form, then you know very well you can express it in terms of a polar form. So let me remind you what we have done so far. If it is a plus jb, I can express in rectangular form like this, that is magnitude e to the power j phi, where r stands for magnitude, phi stands for phase angle. In that case, when I say ck is a complex number, I can rewrite it in polar form like this, that is magnitude of ck e to the power j phi k. What is phi k? Phi k is nothing but angle ck. So your phi k is nothing but angle ck. Is that right? See, when I say ck can be expressed in this polar form, then ck conjugate can be mod of ck e to the power minus j phi k. Please understand, whether it is ck or ck conjugate, you know what is the relation between ck and ck conjugate? Ck conjugate is actually a complex conjugate of ck. So whenever there is a complex number or complex conjugate number, magnitude never gets affected. What changes is phase angle. Let's say if phase angle of ck is positive, then phase angle of its conjugate is negative. That's the only reason why here we have e to the power j phi k, here we have e to the power minus j phi k, but magnitude in both the cases are same. So my plan is I'm going to substitute ck with this form and ck conjugate with this form. I hope you got my point. So let me substitute ck and ck conjugate in their respective polar form and rewrite the relation again. Now I can write my x of t as c naught plus k equal to 1 to infinity. So what we had is ck. So ck is replaced with mod of ck e to the power j phi k, and we had e to the power j k omega naught t here, plus now ck conjugate is replaced with mod of ck e to the power minus j phi k e to the power minus j k omega naught t. Am I right? So I know this is quite lengthy, but just keep patience. We are going to come with a very important result. Let me tell you, from gate point of view, these derivations are not at all important. What is important is final result. But then sometimes it is required for us to really explain this in detail, and only then you can connect with the final one, or you can get convinced with the final result. Otherwise, if I give you a final formula, then every time this doubt comes into mind from where this formula has come. So only for that purpose we are doing so. So let us continue. X of t is equal to c naught plus summation k equal to 1 to infinity. Now see carefully, mod of ck and mod of ck is a common factor. I can write ck mod as it is. Then we know law of indices. E to the power j5k, e to the power jk omega naught t can be written like this. E to the power j I can take common. By law of indices, I can add their powers together. It is 5k plus k omega naught t. Am I right? Plus this mod of ck has gone out. Again, I'll use law of indices over here, and I can write e to the power minus j 5k plus k omega naught t. Is that right? Now refer to this. You know that e to the power j theta plus e to the power minus j theta is nothing but twice of cos of theta. So now I can rewrite this as x of t is equal to c naught plus summation k equal to 1 to infinity mod of ck. So I'm going to treat this whole as theta. this is another theta. So this is e to the power j theta plus e to the power minus j theta can be expressed as twice of cos theta. So I can rewrite this as twice of cos of k omega naught t plus phi k. So whether I write phi k plus k omega naught t or k omega naught t plus phi k, it is one and the same thing. Am I right? So what I'm doing, I'm just replacing this c naught with some other letter, and it doesn't matter as per as the properties remain same or values remain same. So I'm just expressing this c naught with another letter. Let's say r naught plus summation k equal to 1 to infinity. See, we know that mod of ck is a constant. 2 is also constant. So twice of mod of ck I can express with some another constant. Let me say rk. So I'd say rk cos of k omega naught t plus phi k. Am I right? So this is another form of x of t I have got. And let me tell you, this is another type of Fourier series popularly known as polar form Fourier series. In polar form Fourier series, let me tell you, R naught is nothing but C naught. So this becomes quite a relation between polar form Fourier series coefficient and complex form Fourier series coefficient. In fact, we don't call it as complex form exponential, we call it as exponential complex form Fourier series or a complex exponential form Fourier series. So R naught is nothing but C naught. So R naught is nothing but C naught, and also RK is nothing but twice of mod of CK. So this is the important relationship we should understand. So this is how polar form Fourier series gets into picture. So if I tell you this relation directly, then this doubt comes in picture from where this relation has come. So for that purpose only we have derived it so far. Of course, from gate point of view, this is not important, but even if you are appearing for IES, that is Indian Engineering Services, then even derivations are important. So let me write this derived formula once again. So what we had is x of t is equal to r naught plus k equal to 1 to infinity. We have rk cos of k omega naught t plus phi k. Now let me tell you the reality. Have you seen now k is changed from 1 to infinity? So k is always positive. And let me tell you, if k is always positive, then it is varied from 1 to infinity. So when k equal to 1, you will get omega naught. For k equal to 2, you will get twice of omega naught. K equal to 3 will give you thrice of omega naught, and so on. You know that all of them are harmonics, and this is nothing but your fundamental frequency component. And this is all about Fourier series, am I right? So what I really mean to say, here you are looking after only for positive frequencies. Here negative frequencies has not come in picture, because for the first time, or I would say second time, you are trying to express your x of t, which is a real signal in terms of real coefficients only, because r naught and rk are real time coefficients or real coefficients, whereas when I say ck is a complex number. X of t, it's still a real signal. When you express real signal in terms of complex values, then negative frequencies comes in picture. And that's the reason why when we talk about complex exponential Fourier series, we have to take care of negative frequencies also. I said that negative frequencies are just a mathematical entity. It has got no practical existence. Am I right? So that's the only reason why, since it is a real Fourier series, we don't have to take care of negative frequencies. Now, you should understand cos of a plus b formula. It is cos of a cos of b minus sin a sin b. So I'm referring to this actually. I can expand this. I'm rewriting my x of t as r naught plus k is varied from 1 to infinity, rk. So cos of a plus b is cos a. So I can write cos of k omega naught t cos of phi k minus sine of k omega naught t sine phi k. I can write x of t as r naught plus k equal to 1 to infinity. So I'm taking this rk inside the bracket. So rk will multiply to first term and rk will also get multiplied with second term also. So by rearranging terms, I can rewrite it like this rk. So of course it doesn't matter if I write cos phi k first and cos k phi naught t later on. So I'm writing rk cos phi k cos k omega naught t. So we have negative sign here rk. I'm writing sin phi k first and I'll write it over here sin phi k sin k omega naught t. So now here comes a very important situation. See carefully. You know that rk is constant. Cos phi k is also constant. So I can substitute with some constant value. So I'm going to substitute with some constant value, let's say ak. Whereas even this I'm going to substitute with some another value, let's say bk. In fact, I'm going to include this negative sign also. So I would say this is bk. So ak is rk cos phi k and bk is minus rk sin phi k. So now I can rewrite this relation as x of t. I'm substituting r naught as a naught. It doesn't matter, okay? K equal to 1 to infinity ak. So what is the left term? It is cos of k omega naught t plus. Why plus? Because we have included negative sign also inside bk. So bk dot sine k omega naught t. And you know what? This is what we called as a trigonometric Fourier series. So while learning trigonometric Fourier series, I told you that we will learn how this Fourier series formula has come. So this is the place where we have understood how this has come. So it all started with complex exponential Fourier series, from which we have derived polar form Fourier series, and from polar form Fourier series, after expanding it, we have seen how it becomes a trigonometric Fourier series. So these relations are very important that we have learned. So let us summarize what we have done. So you should also understand how do we convert from one Fourier series form to another Fourier series form. So first, what we have, polar form Fourier series, from which we have derived a trigonometric Fourier series. So this is what we have done in last two steps. For that, what you had is R naught. So you know that A naught is always R naught. Secondly, AK is nothing but RK cos phi k, and BK is nothing but minus RK sin phi k. So this is what the relation between polar form Fourier series and trigonometric Fourier series coefficients. So these are relationship between coefficients. Please understand, A naught, AK, BK are called as a trigonometric Fourier series coefficients, and R naught and RK are called as polar form Fourier series coefficients. Also we have seen how do we convert a complex exponential Fourier series to polar form Fourier series. So we know that in polar form Fourier series, we have two coefficients R naught and Rk. And what type of coefficients we have in complex exponential Fourier series? Again, two types, C naught and Ck. So we know that R naught is simply C naught and Rk is twice of mod of Ck. So this is the relationship, and these relations are very important when it comes to solving numericals based on Fourier series, that is get numericals I'm talking about. Thank you.